Hey, what's up, guys? This is Don P from Don P Sounds. Please like this video, subscribe, share it, follow me at Don P Sounds. So today I want to talk about something that's very important to anyone who is creating digital content. It doesn't matter whether you are a musician, a beat maker, a producer, whether you do podcasts, vlogs, videos, documentaries, shorts, doesn't matter. Anything that you create that comes from your mind or your talent or your heart is called intellectual property, IP for short. And intellectual property belongs to the creator, assuming you didn't sign your rights away, and I hope no one did that. But intellectual property belongs to you, the creator, or the group of creators that create it. But just because it belongs to you, that does not mean that you don't have to protect it, because IP that is not protected will get stolen. It's not if, it's when, especially if it's really good content, or especially if you are an up-and-coming artist, producer, and or content creator, and you're sharing your works. So today we want to talk about how you protect your content and make sure that if you do run into an issue where your content is hijacked or stolen, that you have substantial proof, because that's what matters, that the content belongs to you. So today we're going to talk about prevention, and we're going to talk about long-term behaviors and habits that will make sure that you keep all of your content where it belongs, and that's with you. So first, let's talk about the most obvious, and that's copyrights. I recommend that any piece of music, content, art, anything creative that you do, that you register it with the Copyright Office of the U.S. government. It's very important to do it. It's not very expensive if you do it in a smart way. And the smart way to do it, the way that I've done it, and this can apply to any digital content, but the way that I've done it with beats and sound packages and sound design and content that I've created is I usually create what's called a volume or a collection, and so that I won't have to copyright each individual single beat, because you might not sell them all, or you might not put them all out, but you make beats in batches, and at the end of the week you might need to copyright all of the beats that you made that week. So you can put them all on a CD, DVD, thumb drive, hard drive, which I wouldn't recommend because hard drive is pretty expensive. So CD, DVD, or thumb drive will probably be the best digital way to actually copyright those. And you send those into the Copyright Office. You fill out all the paperwork online. It's pretty easy. If you want to figure out how to do it, just search government copyrights in Google, and it'll pop up, and you can just follow the steps there. But when you send that copyright in, it's going to probably take about 6 to 12 weeks to get the document back showing the copyrights. But in the meantime, because you've already sent it out for copyright, you can use the little copyright emblem, the C with the circle in it, to show people that you are letting hear the music or letting experience your art, that this is an artwork that's under a derivative work, or an artwork that is under copyright. And it's very important to use this, because if people hear or see a good idea, they will take it. That's just the reality of the situation that we're in. It's not fair, but it happens all the time. And if you ever get to the point where you have to go to litigation, they'll bring in what's called a musicologist. It's a person that specializes in being able to say, yeah, that song was taken from this, or that was taken from that. And if you have a copyright, you're good to go. It doesn't matter how big the company that you're dealing with is, how big the artist that you're dealing with is. You give it to your legal counsel. They bring in the musicologist. The musicologists say, hey, this was content that was taken. You're good to go. So you want to make sure that you get everything copywritten. So that's step one. Step two is, let's say it's at the middle of the night. You can't make it you can't get the copyright done, but you have to show the content in the morning. Well, there's a couple of things that you can do. What I would recommend is, one, pushing the time back to make sure that you can at least, at the very least, do what's called a poor man's copyright. Now, a poor man's copyright is not as strong. I repeat, it is not as strong as a full copyright. A poor man's copyright is something that basically ties you over in a way until you can send in the full copyright and get it back. But the way that a poor man's copyright works is that you take the CD or the DVD or the thumb drive, and you go to the post office. You put it in a self-addressed, stamped and sealed certified envelope. It must be certified. And they give you a little green and white slip that says it is certified, and they stamp it, and you send it to yourself. So when you receive that, you can just put it in your files or put it in, I have those tubs from, plastic tubs from Walmart, Target, that I file those away in, and that will hold you off. So at the very least, it's time stamped, it's date stamped, and you have something. Now, that does not, I repeat, that does not mean that, oh, I got this poor man's copyright, I don't need to go and spend the money on a copyright. Please don't do that. That will come back to bite you, because a poor man's copyright is just a part of the evidence. It won't hold up, from what all attorneys tell me. It won't hold up as well as a real true copyright in a court of law. And again, I'm not an attorney, but I'm just telling you guys. So this is not legal advice. This is me telling you what I've experienced in the industry. This is me telling you what I've been told by my attorneys. So I tend to follow the people that know what they're talking about. So the next way is, if it's in the middle of the night that you can do it, is you can add some type of metadata onto your content. And usually you can do this by right-clicking on the content, going to info and adding in, your information, your company information, the name of the work. You can put in metadata that sticks onto the file. So if the file is sent, the metadata will still be there. Another way to do this is through watermarking of your content. Now, there are two types of watermarks for music. One of them is basically a frequency that is in the music that even if you re-record it, that frequency is stuck in there. It can't be heard, but it's there. And then another way to actually watermark it is watermarking the file, where the file is actually watermarked, which is similar to metadata, really, because the watermarking of the file, let's say if someone just basically re-records the file in, it's still a situation where they can take the music and use it. So really reverting back to point one, where we talked about getting the full copyright, all of these other options are just stopgaps to getting your full copyright. And you can do them, add them on for extra protection. I do as well. If I get a copyright on something, I still do metadata on it, and I still do watermarking on it to make sure that I go above and beyond to protect my works. So the other thing that you want to make sure you do, and this is more of a common sense rule, don't just send your music out to anyone. Make sure you know who's responsible for obtaining your music and who's responsible for showing your music. So if it's an A&R or if it's a manager, don't just send your music out to anybody. I know everyone gets excited about an opportunity and they want to be the first one to jump on that opportunity, and they could feel pressured and pressed. But the opportunity is no good if you don't get paid for it and if you don't get the recognition for it. It is no good at all. So make sure that you know and have some semblance of a relationship with the person that you're actually giving your music to, if it isn't someone that is paying you. You need to make sure that you know who you're giving your precious content, because that is your effort and your product and your IP and your heart and soul that you put into that content. So you want to make sure that you're putting it, it's like putting your child in the hands of someone that you don't know. You wouldn't do that. It's the same thing with your music, because your music is going to take care of your children, or your content is going to take care of your children. So you want to make sure that you create and develop a relationship with the person that you're actually giving the music to. And if you can't develop that relationship with that person, you want to be prudent and careful and make sure that you follow all of the steps that I previously stated about protecting your content. So that's it for this video today. I hope you guys learned something. If you have questions, please check the description below and send me an email or follow me on IG at DonPSounds, or you can email me at donpsounds@gmail.com. But until the next time, guys, keep making great music. Have an incredible day. Talk to you soon.